Shabbat Shalom. Last Saturday night was not an easy one. Hezbollah was launching rockets into Israel's Galilee. Israel was bombing Hezbollah targets in the south of Lebanon. A boiling pot, to use the language of the prophet Jeremiah, spilling over from the north. It was a tough night for everyone, and in the Cosgrove house, even a little tougher still. Some of you may recall that at the end of services last week, I acknowledged the presence of my Israeli niece, Nomi, in the community. Nomi just finished her year of post-high school national service and is entering the Israeli Defense Forces next month. With 6 weeks between the two, she decided to spend a month here in America, much of it with her aunt and uncle. Nomi is very cute, very smart, and very funny, exactly as you would expect from a niece of mine. She's Israeli through and through, as secular as they come, and aside from her extended family, the inner workings of American Jewry, an absolute mystery to her. What you also need to know about Nomi is that she grew up in Israel's north. She and her siblings all living in a small town outside of Haifa called Kiryat Tivon. Her older brother, as I've shared in the past, is presently serving in Gaza. On Saturday night, as the rockets began to fall and the red alerts began to light up her phone, her family WhatsApp messages came alive. A hurried phone call between Nomi and her sisters was cut short. A rocket was directed at their community. We all heard the siren on the phone in the background. Nomi's family hurried into their home safe room, but because it was reinforced by concrete, the reception is spotty at best. It was a very surreal and very scary experience. Hugging Nomi in our home, knowing her family was huddled in a safe room in theirs. There's no playbook on this. So Debbie and I decided to do what any self-respecting uncle and aunt would do in such a situation: stress eating. We took out a plate of Greenberg cookies and we dove in. And it was then, while we were carb loading, that Nomi shared with me 2 thoughts that I'd like to share with you today. You know what, Uncle Elliot, she began, love is a pretty powerful thing. It wasn't the opening line I was expecting as rockets were falling on her hometown. Tell me more, I replied. Well, she said, here I am, safe and sound with you guys in New York, and rockets are falling in Israel. I should be really glad that I am here and not there. I should feel lucky. But that's not how I feel at all. I wish I was there with my family. I guess that means I must really love them. I guess so, I replied, marveling at how a person so young in such a situation could be so reflective. And taken as I was by Nomi's first comment is what she said to me next that has stuck with me ever since, and I want to talk about today. I think, she said, I think I finally get it. Get what? I asked. I think I get what American Jews must be feeling and what it is you do as an American rabbi. To which again I asked her to explain. Well, she told me, the feeling that I have right now of being in one place while my thoughts and heart are in Israel, that's what American Jews must be feeling. Those are the people, Uncle Elliot, that you are leading. To be in one place while your thoughts and heart are in another. It's not the only way to define American Jewry, but it's a pretty good place to start. For Israelis like Nomi, The connection to the land of Israel, it's hardwired into their system. It's second nature, the land of their birth, youth, history, and destiny. No different than any other citizen of any other country. It's a national identity when they are in Israel and when they are not. By dint of their love of country, an Israeli who doesn't live in Israel is still an Israeli. Israeli Yordim, as they are called, expat Israelis who have descended or gone down to live outside Israel, tend to never fully admit that their stay outside of Israel is permanent. There's even an old joke of the Israeli who, upon waiting to leave his midtown office, overhears Hebrew in the approaching elevator. Yordim, going down, he asks the Israelis in the elevator, to which they all insistently respond, no, we're just here temporarily. It's a cute joke, maybe a little less so to the cantor. But it's a joke that points to a fundamental truth about Israeli identity. In all times, but especially in times of crisis, the nomies of the world feel the tug to come home. Remember what happened following October 7th? For what other country would expats drop everything, take any flight they could find, connecting flights, chartering flights, calling in favors in order to get on a plane to come home to enlist? Following the attack, over 300,000 reservists were activated, and not only did they all show up, but about 50,000 others who didn't receive a draft order reported to their bases. To fight, to vote, even to protest, Israelis feel the gravitational pull of the land. But that feeling, that gravitational pull, is a feeling felt not just by Israelis, but by all of us. We may not live there, but even having made our homes here, our hearts feel the tug to the land. As long as Jews have been Jews, our sense of self has been connected to the land. The very first words spoken to Abraham, Lech lecha, go forth to the land that I will show you. The dying request of Joseph that he be buried in the land of his forefathers. The promise of this week's Torah reading that though dispersed across the earth, we will be brought together and all the people where the Lord has scattered us. The prayers we pray, the direction in which we pray, the breaking of the glass at a wedding, the pledge of B'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim next year in Jerusalem that ends the Passover Seder. Some of us fulfill that pledge, some of us have yet to do so, but no matter where we live, the gaze of our eyes and the direction of our hearts is directed to Zion. My heart is in the east, but I am at the edge of the west, wrote the medieval poet Yehuda Halevi. As with him, so too with us. A faith, a practice, a peoplehood. Judaism is all those things, but it's also a pull to a place, to the land of Israel. And in crisis, that connection is as strong, as important as ever. 1, 2, 3 congregational trips to Israel sold out. The November trip, led by Rabbi Kaufman and Rabbi Zuckerman, is at 2 buses strong, and I believe there are a few spots remaining. We should, intellectually, be glad that we are here and not there. We should feel lucky, but that's not at all how we feel. We wish we were there with family. Why? Because that's what love is. The rabbis of old asked a question as to whether co-joined twins are to be considered one person or 2 people. Do they both need to fill in? Is it 1 or 2 that they're counted as in a minyan? The answer given is a thought experiment of pouring boiling water on one and seeing if the other screams. Then they count as 1. So too American Jewry and Israel. This past year, Israelis have been badly burned, and we American Jews have screamed. I've yet to speak about my summer in Israel, what I studied, where I went, and who I saw. I imagine I'll do so soon enough. But particulars of the trip aside, it was really just the act of being there that mattered most. The place where so much of our energy, emotion, and devotion has been directed all year. Painful as it was at times to be there, it restored my soul to be, just to be, in the place where I may not live, but where I belong. And I think this is what Nomi meant when she said that she finally understood me as an American rabbi. You know, the other night, I was sitting on a community panel when the moderator caught me off guard, asking me why, Rabbi, if I preach, teach, and talk so much about moving to Israel, have I yet to do so, and if I intend to do so? It was a bit of an awkward moment. I wasn't prepared for the question, and I probably fumbled the answer. But with a chance to catch my breath these last couple days, let me offer this as a response. I believe that the litmus test for an engaged Jewish identity lies not in the declarative statements that we make, but in the soul-searching questions with which we wrestle. Does God listen to our prayers? How much of the Torah is human and how much divine? Why do bad things happen to good people? Are we really commanded to do mitzvot? There are no definitive answers to these questions, but to wrestle with them signals that we have skin in the game. As individuals and as a community, we struggle with them. The push and the pull, not the answer itself, is what shapes our identity and anchors us as a people. As Heschel taught, we're closer to God when we're asking the questions than when we think we have the answers. And I believe that the question of whether a Jew today should live in the land of Israel is high up on that list of questions, not because of the fear of anti-Semitism, but because you and I, all of us, have been born into an extraordinary chapter of Jewish history where the only thing preventing us from living in the sovereign Jewish state is us. For the first time in a really long time, a Jew can actualize the multi-millennial dream of living in Israel. Some may define Zionism as supporting Israel's right to self-determination, and others may hold that a real Zionist must live in Israel. My Zionism lies somewhere in between, namely the belief that every Jew, every rabbi, and every synagogue openly asks the question of whether or not to act on the pull to the land. To adopt the title of our Torah reading, there are Nitzavim Jews who are standing here outside of Israel, and then there are Vayelech Jews, Jews who choose to go and live in Israel, and then there's a continuum that connects us all. And as for me and my personal struggle, I'm soothed by the hope that my present contributions to the Jewish people offer modest compensation for not having beckoned the call of our people's history. Nomi has since returned to Israel. Her flight landed safe and sound. And with hostilities on the rise, with every passing moment, I wish I could say the same for her in Israel, but I can't. In the embrace of her family, I hope she is surrounded by the love of which she spoke of and longed for last week. I also hope that she knows that while her American Jewish rabbi uncle is not physically there with her, he loves her, he wishes he was, and his heart definitely is with her and with all of Israel. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining the Park Avenue Synagogue family. I hope you enjoyed the sermon. Please consider supporting our online community by scanning the QR code or by going to supportpas.org or by making a donation. Shalom and see you in Shul.